Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly Jones Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute ring. It's fully adjustable. And it uses a little cab, so we're not using a bead today, we're using a little cabochon. Mine's 5mm. So we just want to say a quick thank you to my patrons. If you're interested in supporting me, please jump on over to Patreon. I'll put a link below. Thanks to everybody who does, and I have a new free written tutorial for you in my Aurora tier coming very soon. To make this ring you'll need 0.8mm wire, which is 20 gauge. I've cut one length at 6 inches and two lengths at 4 inches, so that's 15 centimeters and 10 centimeters. You'll need 0.315mm weaving wire, which is 28 gauge. I've wound mine onto a bobbin. This is a Bobeeze bobbin by Beadsmith. You just wind your wire on there. It just makes it easier working with the longer lengths. If you don't have one of these, don't worry, you can just cut shorter lengths as you go. So I'm using a little stone today. Mine is, I can pick it up, whoop, little 5mm stone. Mine has a flat back. Lots of noise outside today for this one. What else have I got? So tools, I've got my pliers, round nose pliers, wire cutters, nylon pliers. If you don't have nylon pliers, don't worry. I just like having these handy for straightening wires and compressing and flattening weaves. These are Prestige, and my other tools are Tronex. I'll put a list of everything in the description below. Take your 6-inch length of wire and your 5mm stone. Position your stone flat against your finger and halfway down your wire. So I've done this technique quite a few times in my other videos, so you've probably seen it before. So what we're going to do is we're going to grip the stone and the wire. We're going to bring the wire around the stone, and you need to pull it quite tightly so it wraps around the stone there. And then we're going to take the top wire and we're going to bring the top wire around the stone. If you've got a pointy-backed stone, then you can do this the same. Just lay it flat on your finger, go around the pointy side. When we've wrapped around the front once, we're going to turn it over and we're going to trap the back. So if you've got a pointy stone, this will be the front, and it's also flat. If you've got one of them stones with a point on each end, you can still do it the same. So if this side is flat, all you need to do now is come over that flat edge of the stone. So as you're going around, bringing the wire over that edge. And you want to go right around the very edge so you're not covering up the stone. And go all the way around once. So when you look at the side, you've got 3 wraps. You've got one around the middle, you've got one around the top and one around the bottom of the stone, and it all holds the stone in there nice and tidy. So for this design, we want one wire coming out one side and one wire coming out the other. So go around or adjust your wires until you have that stone trapped in there nicely, and we've got a wire coming out both sides. Grace is adjusting her bed to add to the noise. Take one of your shorter lengths of wire, find the centre, and we're going to bend that wire at the centre point. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach these 2 wires together so the centre of that wire goes over the stone. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of a weave across these 2 wires to hold that in place there, keeping the bend there next to the wire so we know that's the middle of the wire. So take your weaving wire and wrap a few times around the bottom wire, which is the single wire. Slide it down. And then we'll go around the both wires, come up between, we'll go around the top and around the bottom, around the both wires, come up between, around the top, around the bottom, and we're going to repeat that weave. My wires keep moving about at the moment, so just do your best to hold them together. So you go around 2, come up between, around the top wire, and then around the bottom. So we're going to do about 1 centimetre of that weave, just a little bit there. Press your weave together and slide your weave down so it's right next to the stone there. So holding it at this angle now, we're going to bring this top wire around to follow the stone so it meets these wires here. Pinching those wires so now they're all next to each other. And we're going to take our other length of the 4 inches. I'm positioning it so it's about the same length as the other wires at the ends here. And I want it to weave with these wires, so I'm going to put a bend and I'm going to weave across all 4 wires. Similar weave to what we've just done, so we go around the 2, come up between, go around 2, come up between, go around 2, come up between. So keep pushing your weave together as you go, around the top wire, come up between the middle 2, around the 3rd wire, come up between the bottom 2, around the 2nd wire, around the bottom wire. So that's our weave we're going to do across all 4 wires. So a simpler way of looking at it is, on the way up, we go around 2, and on the way back down you go around each one. Do you want to repeat that a few more times? So I've kept repeating that weave. I've done about 1.5 centimetres, and what you do depends on the size of your ring, really. So cut that little end off. Finish your weave with a couple of wraps around one of the wires so it doesn't come undone. Press the little cut end down. And then we're going to move to this side. So take another 4-inch length of wire, so you'll need an extra one, I'll mention that at the beginning. Take that 4-inch length of wire and bend it in half. You want it quite flat, but you don't want it absolutely flat. So you want it kind of, so the wires are a little bit apart. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to cut the weaving wire from this end, and I'm going to leave a little bit of length on there in case I want to add or take these repeats. And then this side, I'm going to take this wire behind that wire a little bit and bring it up, and then this wire, holding it at the back so I'm not pulling it away from the stone, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. So we're making a similar shape as we did for the other side, and then I'm going to bend those wires out a little, and then I'm going to add this bent wire to here so I can weave across all four. So then take your weaving wire and we'll do the same weave as we did for the other side. So wrap around your bottom wire a few times to attach. This is going to be a bit tricky to hold. So wrap around 2 wires, come up between, so it's exactly the same. I think I'm going to weave it here and then slide it down. So do the same weave as you did before across all 4 wires. So I've gone around 2 on the way up, and I'll go around 1 on the way back down. I'm going to do that a few times and then I'm going to slide the weave down. So I've done 3 repeats of that weave, and then I'm going to attempt to slide it down. My hands don't want to work today. That's done it. So now I've got 4 wires here. I'm going to have to, because I've pulled it out a little bit, I have to adjust that a little bit. And then we're going to carry on with this weave the same length as you did for the other side, and then we'll work out the size for the band. So I've done about 1.5 centimetres on that side too. You have to keep pushing it together, and you have to keep pulling on those middle wires every now and then to get it all in line. Look at this wire from the beginning of that weave. And we'll shape it around to find out what our band size is. Now I need a ring mandrel. I always forget to mention you're going to need a ring mandrel on these ring tutorials. So you're going to need a ring mandrel. Position your centre of your ring on there. Hold it the best you can and carefully bend your weaves around the sides. Your front wires are going to try and move like this, so you've got to shape that and push that down as well. So make sure that this wire is still to the back a little bit and give them a squeeze on the sides. I've pulled this wire back. And then where the wires come together, we need to bend those over. But we want to work out the size first, so I'm going to take one side and one the other, just so we can work out the band size. My bands are going to meet if I do it at this size, and I think you want a little gap in the middle just in case you want to make it any smaller. So you can either make it a size bigger or you can undo a repeat on each side. So adjust your weaves until they're the size that you want, and we'll finish off those ends. My weave has slid down a little bit, so I'm sliding it back up. And then have a look at the shape and make sure it's all circular Finish off these ends. Make sure you've finished off your weave. So you want to wrap a few times around the last wire on each weave just to finish off the weaves. Cut your weaving wire and press down that little cut end. And make sure as well that your weave is all very compressed. So really push it down. We'll do that to this end as well. Just going to end these wires. I got all wire wrapped around my pliers now. We're just going to end these wires and curl them over. So using your round nose pliers, we're going to curl them over, but you want them to meet at the back, and then that way they're not going to catch and scratch on anything. So do that for all of the wires. Really bend them over tightly and bring them over so they meet at the back there. Again, as I did for my last ring, this drastically reduces the size of your ring. I think I started off with an 8 and now I have a huge gap. So I will advise that it will come up small. Really press it around your mandrel so it's the right shape. So I've adjusted that top wire. I pushed it back to start with, but I like it at the front next to this wire. So I've pulled that back to the front and just squeezed it together a bit here. I like how that's turned out and it looks quite cute. You could always add a little beads in these gaps here if you wanted to. I'll run and oxidise it and I'll show you what it looks like. So there we have it, finished. I've oxidised mine. If you'd like help oxidising yours, I've done videos on oxidising and aftercare. I'll put links in the description below. And I want to say a massive thank you to all my patrons for your support. If it weren't for you guys, I would not be able to continue making these free tutorials. So thank you, all of you. Thank you so much. And I'll put your names on the screen. If anyone would like to support me and doesn't already, then you can pop on over to Patreon. All the details are there. I'll put links below. I've just spotted a little end that's come away while I've been oxidising it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll put links below for oxidising, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Bye guys. Bye.